The opinions expressed in this show are the views of the host and not necessarily that of WTRW, 94.3 The Talker, or the Bold Gold Media Group.
The following presentation is brought to you by the host of the program, who is solely responsible for its content.
Good afternoon, and welcome to Make a Change. I'm your host, Terry Martin, along with my producer, Tom Jenkins.
Good afternoon, Terry.
Good afternoon.
How are you?
Very well.
This is Make a Change. It's a brand new show here on 94.3 FM The Talker. And I loved the different things that you and I talked about before we got on the air here today. So I want you to tell the listeners exactly what is Make a Change.
Make a change is if you want your skin to look healthy and be healthy, then your body has to be healthy.
So more or less make a change physically, externally, and internally?
Yes. So let's talk about a few helpful suggestions for every day that you could do.
Sure.
Well, first of all, the choices and the responsibilities are ours to take care of ourselves.
Nobody else is responsible for ourselves. Nope.
That's right. There's no one else to blame, and we only get one body and one life.
I'll find some people to blame if you want me to, but I understand. Okay.
Right. So what does this have to do with skincare? It has everything to do with skincare. And a good example would be, what if you had a Ferrari?
In my dreams.
Well, what would our bodies look like if we took care of them like we would take care of a Ferrari? Well, first of all, if we had the Ferrari, we would have to use the most expensive gas or oil. Mm-hmm. Would you even think of trying to put diesel or regular gas
in
that car?
Nope.
Well, even on the surface of the car, would you use the best polishes and the best waxes?
Knowing me, I actually have a professional take care of the polishing and the waxing because I would mess it up. But
right.
Yeah, it'd have to be top of the line, absolutely.
And as far as that goes, everything that's mechanical and under the hood, it's all maintained. But what about your own self that is more priceless than any car? Or making sure, if you're a woman, that you have the most expensive clothes or the most expensive purse.
Sure.
But when it comes to our health, we seem to put a price tag on that even when we go to the grocery stores, as far as, organic food goes or any of the maintenance that we need to do, we don't seem to want to spend on that.
I gotcha. No, I understand. I definitely understand. So many of us, myself included, I've been to the grocery store, and I eat organic to the best of my ability. I try to always stay on the outside part of the grocery store, and that is expensive. It very much is expensive. But my theory on that is that I'm going to pay for it now so I don't have to pay for it in the long run with health problems. But I like your analogy with the Ferrari. You can have a beautiful looking Ferrari, but if the insides don't make a difference, you're not driving it anywhere. It's going to sit and look pretty, and that's it.
Yeah, because financially, don't you think you should take care of yourself in the very best way possible? This isn't selfish. It isn't a luxury. It's a necessity.
Absolutely.
And unfortunately, most of us do not see this until it's too late and the damage has already been done.
Yeah, and then we have to go back and try to fix what's already broken instead of taking care of it before it breaks.
So we can talk about a plan of action and how to regroup.
And this is the Make a Change. This is the change that you're talking about, the internal change as well as an external change.
Right. And this can be very exciting. Basically, we need to go back in time. We need to do more of what our grandparents did according to the way they ate and they exercised, they relaxed, they laughed, they daydreamed, they prayed.
This is the part I wanted you to talk to everybody about because I loved this, going back. Okay, keep going.
And because studies show our bodies rebuild every 7 years, and some people say every 2 to 10 years. But that must be according to how you take care of yourself and how fast it rebuilds.
Okay.
But if food made you overweight and sick, then isn't it reasonable to say that food can make you get back to your desirable weight as well?
So that sounds about right.
Every cell in your body eventually dies and it's replaced with new cells. Mm-hmm. And every day, it's an opportunity to build a new body. I think that's really exciting.
That's actually kind of cool if you think about it, yeah.
Really, if you don't think our bodies are, kind of like magic, just think about it whenever you cut your finger, cut your arm or whatever. In a couple days, you start to see it just magically starts going back together. Mm-hmm. So if your body, you can actually see it heal on the outside, it will heal on the inside, but we don't think that way because we can't see it.
I gotcha.
Right before the show, I did a little Googling to get the statistics for this, but this is very exciting. Your DNA renews itself every 2 months. Your skin rebuilds itself in 1 month, and especially at night. Later on, I will elaborate a little more on how you rebuild at night. And it also says your liver rebuilds itself in 6 weeks. The lining in your stomach rebuilds itself within 5 days. Your brain rebuilds itself in 1 year. And your blood rebuilds itself every 4 months. Your body builds a whole new skeleton in 3 months. Now, that should be pretty exciting, I think, to anyone to know that it doesn't matter what our age is, we can all begin again. And just because you might, not be doing what you should do every day, that doesn't mean quit and give up. It means you've already got somewhere on that ladder. So just get back on, keep going, and you can.
Every day is a chance to start new. Every day, no matter how old you are, no matter what kind of damage you've already done, every day is a new day that you can start making a change to start new again. How can we start new? What are different things we can do to make this change?
Well, now that we went through the information how the body can restore itself, it does give us hope.
Right.
So now we will go into even the lack of water, what it can do as far as dehydration.
Kidney stones.
Yeah.
I am a living example of lack of water, terrible kidney stones.
Oof.
Yeah.
Yes. And a condition that occurs when you don't have enough water in your body to carry out the normal functions. It also not only gives you those kidney stones, but mild dehydration can drain your energy and make you tired.
Mm-hmm.
So here is something that if you just drank water every day, you would probably feel better, just more energetic from that alone. And the reason why, how much water do you need? I looked that up too on Google, because it said every day you lose water, of course, through your breath, perspiration, urine. But for your body to function properly, you must replenish it with water by consuming beverages that not only are water, but that do contain water. Now, that doesn't mean coffee, because if you drink 1 cup of coffee, you have to drink 4 cups of water.
To gain that water supply back.
To gain it back.
Okay.
Now, our bodies are made of 70% water, and the Institute of Medicine determined that an adequate intake for men would be at least 13 cups of water. Of course, cups are 8 ounces.
Right.
And for the women, it would be a total of 9 cups a day.
I'm doing math on how many actual ounces this is going to be for me.
Right. And according to any statistics, without water, I mean, of course you can't last, but on top of that, it causes premature aging. So when we go into the plan of action and the regrouping, so we talked about water now, but let's just go into a few basic ones that you could change this week. Each week we'll talk about many other ideas that can be easy for you to start changing your choices. So when we talk about food, let's just go into that. Now, you could go with organic, raw living foods. They are the best choice because dead, heavily processed foods have zero nutrition. So dead food has no life and therefore can give no life. So if you think that you can't afford organic, you can't afford not to have organic, because if you can buy 1 bag of course, the organic without the insecticides, pesticides, or you can buy 3 or 4 bags of a junk food that's all heavily processed, it's dead. So what would you really be gaining there? Instead, you can feed your body everything that it needs without your body having to get rid of the insecticides and pesticides. And if you're going to take time in the first place to cook, why would you bother to cook or eat inferior food? And as far as the obesity goes, our body does gain weight because I always thought of it this way. If it isn't getting the nutrition that it needs, it's going to keep saying, I'm hungry, I'm hungry. And it's because it might need the B vitamins or it might need the C's. But because it doesn't get it, that's what keeps causing, I feel, us to eat. But when you get the organic and the food already has all the nutrition in it that hasn't been lost, then of course you should not be gaining that kind of weight, because your body just has to put all that excess weight, in storage. So that's where all of our weight comes from.
So the body tells us we're hungry when we don't have the right nutrients.
Absolutely.
So what do we do then? We go out and we keep shoving in the bad food to try to tell ourselves we're not hungry anymore. when in all actuality, if we just eat the organic, our body doesn't tell us we're hungry anymore. So we get filled up faster with the good food because our body has exactly what it needs and we're not shoving the garbage down our throats anymore.
Exactly.
Okay.
And if we would follow our own body, it tells us what we need, but our own brain said no. Many times we'd rather the salty, we'd rather the fast food, and it does fill us and it seems that we're okay for a while, but we see what happens afterwards.
Mm-hmm. I just ate. Why am I hungry again? I just got done eating an hour ago. Why am I hungry again?
Right.
Because you really didn't eat. You just put stuff in you, but did you really eat?
Mm-hmm.
I like that. Okay.
So, and actually, when we were talking about eating, when they do say stop at 6 o'clock at night, approximately, that's because that leads into our sleep time. Mm-hmm. So many people say, well, I'm still hungry after 6 o'clock at night. Well, drink water or something. But what is happening is sleep is our repair time. So when we're eating after 6 o'clock at night and our stomach is using all of our energy to digest, mm-hmm. then that's why we're not sleeping good.
And the body can't repair itself because it's too busy digesting what's in our stomach.
You're supposed to just, in that sleep time, that's where it is your healing time.
Okay.
So if someone is even trying to lose weight, sick, or anything at all, just try to follow that rule alone. And on top of that, when you're eating, you shouldn't be drinking water or anything. Maybe if you have to have a little bit of a hot tea or something with your food, but just think of it. You're eating your food, you're drinking maybe 8 to 10 or 12 ounces of water or soda or whatever you're having. It's like a big cesspool down there, and mm-hmm. your whole stomach is just going crazy. But just the few simple rules can start making you feel better. And when you feel better, you look better.
Makes sense. Definitely makes sense. So we eat right, drink more water. What else can we do?
Well, of course, in your sleep. Many people think they can get by with just a few hours of sleep, but we really cannot.
I will vouch, I need my sleep. I've tried that, 4 or 5 hours. I can't do it. I just can't do it. I'm a zombie the next day. I don't feel good. I'm cranky. They lock me in a hole here at work. Don't talk to Tom.
Well, actually, breathing deeply is another good one. Okay. What we've talked about so far. Sleep doesn't cost any money. The water doesn't, might have a water bill, but not much of one. Mm-hmm. Water doesn't cost. And your food, organic food, really, that doesn't cost because you're eating right. But then the next one we want to talk about is the breathing deeply. And that allows you to take in more oxygen. And when you can take in more oxygen, not only do you feel good, but your cells, then it just gets into every part of your body so you can even think clear. And I would like to say a little story about my uncle that is 93 years old now. When he was in his 50s, he heard that smoking was no good for you. Mm-hmm. He had just bought a carton of cigarettes, he said, and he saw that on TV, and it scared him terrible. So he went out to the burn barrel. He said he took one cigarette out of it, threw them in the trash, burned them up. He said then he came back in, and he was so worried that he decided at night, when he went to bed, he was going to just start breathing deep, try to repair his lungs. And so he lay down in bed, and he said he would just breathe so deep to where your stomach just couldn't go out any further, and then he would hold it, mm-hmm. and then he would let that escape, his breath, just let it back out after holding it for like maybe count of 6. And he said he would do that for 10 times. And this man, at 93, he really attributes most of his health really to just breathing good and deep and getting it down. We get so upset in the day that we're taking all short breaths. Mm-hmm. We're not even thinking of getting that oxygen into all the repair areas that we might need, or just to even think clear. But I tried that. And what is so funny that after the 5th breath, usually I fall asleep. I can't
make it to
even,
the 10 count, huh?
No, because it actually relaxed me. And that's why they even say if anyone's in pain, instead of holding yourself so tight because it hurts, mm-hmm. take the deep breaths because it's a natural relaxing.
Don't forget to breathe.
Exactly.
Why don't we take a quick break? When we come back, let's talk about more things we can do to rebuild internally, so our external will be just as good.
Very good. Of course, if you have any questions, check out themedericlinicals.com or feel free to give me a call at 866-646-3374. This is Make a Change with me, Terry Martin, on 94.3 FM, The Talker. Be right back.
Mederi Clinicals, a unique skincare company, has a complete skincare line for men and women. From anti-aging to glycolic and even a clinical line for sensitive skin, Mederi Clinicals is for you. Their number one product? Forgiveness. It's the secret to younger looking and younger acting skin. You can experience the transformation with fewer wrinkles, firmer skin, and a more youthful, radiant complexion. Treat aging, sun damage, rosacea, and more with Forgiveness. Plus, buy one bottle of Forgiveness, get one lip enhancing complex for free. Forgiveness. Apply it morning and night and keep forgiving and forgetting all through the day. Make a change with Mederi Clinicals. Balance, restore, look, and feel new. Mederi Clinicals, a complete skincare company for men and women. Call 866-646-3374 or check out MederiClinicals.com. MEDERI Clinicals.com.
Welcome back to Make a Change on 94.3 FM The Talker. I'm Terry Martin, your host, and Tom Jenkins, my producer.
I'm glad you brought up your name. We've been talking the last segment about how we can make changes internally so we can become better people. So that's kind of what the show is about, make a change, in a nutshell. Who are you, though? Who is Terry Martin? Why are you personally doing all of this? What makes you Terry Martin? Other than your mom giving you that name, but...
Yes. Well, 20 years ago, approximately, I started the company Mederi Clinicals, and it was all about skincare.
Okay.
And for 12 years, I worked in a surgery center. So I was studying skin and wondering why certain people had different skin problems. And I would go home and I would read about that. And then I found out that it all had to do with the health of the skin. Then I realized with myself that I was getting all these little warnings in life, and I thought that I was just aging. I thought that this just came along with age. By the time you get to the top of the stairs, you were out of breath, and I could see that my skin wasn't right. You just see so many things happening, but they were like just the warnings, and like all of us, you put a Band-Aid over it, and it goes away for a while. You take some kind of antacid if it's your stomach or whatever. You just pacify those little problems. But we really need to understand that we need to listen to those warnings before they turn into a very big problem, because God gave us those little warnings to take care of it. And so what I found out that, maybe 4 years after many little incidents that I was having, that finally I found out I was extremely anemic. And you might not think that's a big problem, but when your blood levels go down below 5, that could put you into cardiac arrest. And until I saw my feet swelling and ended up in the emergency room to understand that I thought I was taking care of myself. I thought that, I wasn't extremely overweight. However, I was told that, like this role that I was getting, they said, that's the middle-aged role. Well, when you start seeing all these things, you just think that is normal. It's not normal. And I found out that role that we get is really considered a liver role. So what happens with our bodies as we do get older? No, we don't shed the pounds as quick as we used to. But what we really need to do is take better care of ourselves. And if you don't, those warnings just keep getting louder. And sometimes, it sets you back so far that you start, if you want to, you start studying to say, okay, thank you for that warning, because if it wasn't for that, then I wouldn't be able to take care of this other problem that is happening. So anyway, small changes I found in my life gave big rewards. So I decided in the time that I was off recouping, I would write a book. So my book was called Makeup and More. And what I meant by that is there's much more to makeup. It means you can only, icing the cake so long when it comes to beauty, and beauty is nothing if you don't feel good. So I wrote not only in this first part of the beauty book how to, make yourself uniquely you to the best of what you have and be grateful. Just be grateful, actually, for life. But I put in these 6 ways that you can, which we went over briefly in the beginning of the show. We talked about food, water. We talked about sleep and breathing. One we didn't talk about, though, is exercise. And that was one of the things that I was extremely lacking. Even though I thought walking around and doing my work was enough, I discovered, which I actually put in the book, was rebounding was a great exercise to do, because basically I was always lazy. Or I could say excuses, didn't have the time to do it. But a rebounder is really a mini trampoline. You could put it anywhere. You could put it in your office, in your bedroom. Just don't run into it like I did and broke my toe.
Oh.
So, but you think if you put it away in an exercise room or whatever, you're more unlikely not to use it.
Right, out of sight, out of mind.
So in my office, I actually even put it in the corner. And the reason for this rebounder is, if anyone looks online and Googles it, great books are out on it. But instead of paying the gym to go to a gym, which you probably, if you're like me, I didn't do, putting in an exercise room, you're going to do all that, but I didn't do it. But when I found out about the rebounder, what was so good about it is that, you've all had water balloons, and you know how you put it in your hand and you go to throw them and they go all over? Well, that's actually what your cells are like, from the top of your head to the tips of your toes. So when you rebound, I'm sure everyone's jumped on an old mattress or box springs when you were young. The good old days, the fun time. But you got such a feeling if you ever did it, euphoric. I mean, it was just great. So when you get on the rebounder, you do not have to, you take your shoes off, but you don't have to, the reason you take your shoes off, though, is because you have all of, there's lymph nodes, there's all these points in your feet that are really very good to exercise. You need to do that. So when you rebound, it moves all of those cells that are like the water fluid all over the place so that they can't stick together. When your cells start sticking together, that's where we start getting all of our problems.
Okay.
You can check any of this out, to see. I'm not saying that it could stop, cancer or any of these things, but it does help break everything apart. Anyway,
it helps heal.
We'll stop on that right there. Well, we'll stop on what it can do for you, because the list, it even says that, it helps blood pressure and everything. So it's very important if anyone wants to Google that one. But the other thing about it is, you don't jump to the ceiling. You don't jump until you're out of breath. You can talk to someone while you're on the phone, and they don't even know that you're doing that. And you will not see the time that you're spending by doing that. It's actually a joy to do that. But they also have said in the book that I read, if someone is too sick to even rebound, and you say, oh no, I'm too far back, you've hurt your leg, you've got these issues, you get on that rebounder and you let someone gently rebound it for you, and then it will help that person as well. And then it also talks about the gravity pull, that there's so many reasons that our body can do that. It's the most simple exercise. So anyway, that was one that I wrote in my book, and I'd highly recommend. The other thing is, when I heard this too, which I think would be very helpful. We're so used to putting ourselves down all the time, and the rest of the world will do enough of that to us. And so we can't do it to ourselves too. But I heard about writing, at the end of the day, a compliment book. How many compliments not did you give? Well, you could write that if you wanted to, but how many did you get? Because sometimes we don't see our worth. And then if you just write in the day, it doesn't matter what it was. If it was the smallest thing, it might make you do many more nice things for someone else too. But when you're feeling down and out, when you're exhausted and you're tired and everything seems to be going wrong, open up your book and just say, you know what, I do have worth. So there's a lot of things that I write in that book that are self-help, because if you don't help yourself, no one else is going to. So through all of this that I had gone through myself, it was 3 years later, and I do have to tell you, I had suspicious cells. I had many things wrong. I finally went to a doctor and got all new blood work. But I was always, I have to tell you, I was also having eye issues. So I decided on my birthday, I was going to be brave. I was going to be strong. I found a new eye doctor, and I didn't tell him a thing about what I had been through, a thing about my health, because I had juiced, made so many different juices, changed everything that you could possibly change that I could read and find, and yet my sight wasn't right. And I thought, what is going on? So I I go to the new eye doctor, and you know what was wrong? One of my eyes in the past was 150. The other was 350. But guess what? My eyes were better. So my contacts were no good anymore. My eyeglasses were no good anymore because my body's happy and it keeps improving.
So there was technically nothing wrong with your eyes. They were getting better. What was wrong was the prescription from when they weren't good.
Right.
Wow.
My blood work became perfect. I have to say, my cholesterol was still a little high. I have to say that. And the only reason that I believe that was when you are detoxifying, you can't really go by a lot of things that might not look so good, like cholesterol, because you have a lot that's releasing in your bloodstream.
I gotcha.
So it goes pretty deep. But what I thought I would try to do, because I do give talks to anyone who asks me to come and talk, I'll be happy to go do that. But we are so far off track from what is so simple in life that I just thought in my mind, what if I was stranded on an island? What if I was somewhere where I didn't have all of the luxuries I have right now? And then I discovered I'd probably be a lot better off, because with all the luxuries comes all the responsibility too. And it was much easier to go back to drinking the water. And when I did talk about that earlier in the show, if you don't like to drink water, one good suggestion I heard is, because many people say, I don't drink water at all, don't even like it. Start with a 4-ounce cup and just get that down. And then, you can work yourself up to 5 ounces. So in the end, if it seems like, I talked about 9 cups for women to drink and 13 cups for a man to drink. Well, if that seems like too much, as you get drinking maybe 8 to 10 ounces at one time, don't stand there and sip it all day long. You will have to go to the bathroom all day long. But you'll see that after a while, you feel so good with your water, you don't want to do without it. Mm-hmm. So when they do say liquids on some of these things, it's supposed to be liquid you can see through. But water is really the very best.
I know a suggestion, because I'm supposed to drink a lot of water as well, and somebody told me this, and I actually do this now, because after a while, there's no taste to it. I want some taste. I want something with flavor, and or I get organic lemons, and I'll slice up lemons and actually just throw chunks of lemon right in, not just squeeze the juice, but I'll just throw the whole chunk right in there, and that actually adds a lot of flavor too. And
vitamins.
A friend of mine also said that lemons are actually alkaline instead of acidic, and it helps balance the pH, which of course helps the internal as well. So lemons, rock on. Good flavor, good for you. And put it in the water, and we just killed 2 birds with 1 stone. No pun intended.
Well, exactly. And when you drink your water, though, once you start actually drinking water, you'll find all the different tastes that there are in water. So we feel, okay, well, we'll stop and buy this plastic bottle, and they have talked about plastic bottles. If you can get away from that, you really want to do that. Mm-hmm. Turn everything that you can into glass, and yes, I know it shatters and everything, but myself, one thing that I do, and it's not very becoming, I suppose, but I get quart jars of water, and I put it on wherever I'm working. And I know that if I try to not use that quart jar and fill it with water, I know that I didn't drink enough all day long. If I think that I'm just going to get a glass and I'll keep drinking it, or those bottles, I don't do that. Okay. So even if I take it in the car, it's goofy. And even, I go to the hairdresser and she's always laughing that I'm the only one who does that. Mm-hmm. But I realize this, my health is worth feeling good. We want to live long and strong. And you talk about many people that live to be over 100 years old. I'm sure that they stayed simple with the water. They didn't have all the sugar. They didn't have to have, all these aspartame and all these sugar-free that I see so many people, they're always adding all of these, everything to their water. It could be, unless you're doing it like you're doing it, which is very good, which is the fruit. But when you start adding everything to it that has the sugar or whatever, you've undone. So say you want to make fresh lemonade or anything, like, no, that doesn't do it. But we're talking here to moms and dads, but actually in our children too. We need to start changing their lives because, again, you're seeing obesity. And when we go back to talking about obesity, I want to go back there a little bit, if that's okay.
Sure. Let's take a quick break. Okay. Before we go to the break, though, quickly, why did you write the book?
I wrote the book because I am getting older, and I knew that I could not see enough people and explain. So I wrote it in the book to help mothers to save money, or anyone, save money and be healthy and get off this fast track.
What's the name of the book again?
It's called Makeup and More.
How could I get a copy of it?
You can go online to MaderiClinicals.com. And also, my second book is very close to being finished.
Awesome. Got to keep us posted on that.
I will do that.
You're listening to the brand new show here on 94.3 FM, The Talker. It's called Make a Change. We now know all about Terry Martin. And when we come back, obesity?
Yes.
All right. Stick around. Thanks for listening to 94.3 FM, The Talker. Maderi Clinicals, a unique skincare company, has a complete skincare line for men and women. From anti-aging to glycolic and even a clinical line for sensitive skin, Maderi Clinicals is for you. Their number one product? Forgiveness. It's the secret to younger looking and younger acting skin. You can experience the transformation with fewer wrinkles, firmer skin, and a more youthful, radiant complexion. Treat aging, sun damage, rosacea, and more with Forgiveness. Plus, buy one bottle of Forgiveness, get one lip enhancing complex for free. Forgiveness. Apply it morning and night and keep forgiving and forgetting all through the day. Make a change with Maderi Clinicals. Balance, restore, look, and feel new. Maderi Clinicals, a complete skincare company for men and women. Call 866-646-3374 or check out MaderiClinicals.com. MEDERI Clinicals.com. Welcome back to the brand new show here on 94.3 FM, The Talker. It's called Make a Change with Terry Martin. I am the producer, co-host, friend, guy who pushes the buttons, whatever you want to call me. I am Tom Jenkins, and this is the introductory show to the show, Make a Change. And this is fascinating stuff, Terry. Terry Martin is the host, and just the first half hour, it flew by for me. You know, I'm fascinated with how to make the internal change, the external, and your story is amazing on where you came from. You had said something, this is going to be kind of weird, but I want you to elaborate on it for me, please. You used the term liver roll. Now, that's not something, that's not an appetizer at the Super Bowl party. What is a liver roll? You know, you were talking that you had one, and elaborate if you wouldn't mind, please.
Well, again, when I thought that I was just getting old and my body was changing, and everyone says that you know, get ready for it because you're going to have that middle bulge. And I looked at my one family member that told me that, and I said, no, I'm not. That is not for me, and I don't know where this came from. All of a sudden it crept up. I shouldn't say all of a sudden. I saw it, but then finally one day, you know, you're in your bathing suit, and then you say, well, what happened here? So then you think all winter long you're going to work that off. But then the spring came, and you know what? It didn't come off. Mm-hmm. And then the next year, it got to be just a little bit more and a little bit more until finally, even if it was only maybe about 11 pounds that I needed to lose, I couldn't lose 1 pound. I didn't know what was going on. It's because my whole body was breaking down. And I can't say silently. It wasn't silent. It was ever so gentle. So that's why when you hear these little gentle warnings, mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying. You really need to look at it. So anyway, I started studying and what this bulge really meant. And that, of course, that's just where it was really showing. But I was getting to the point that I could take my elbow and rest it on that bulge. So I started saying, okay, what can I do? And water wasn't enough. I needed to drink more. But it was my nutrition that was happening that way, and I started realizing maybe I should try to make juice. You know, they say, you know, everybody gets on these gimmicks, and you watch TV and you see like the juicers and everything to buy. Well, I did do that, And it just seemed like they were such a mess. There was so much cleanup and everything. So anyway, there's a lot of juicers out there that you can get. I don't even know if I can mention one in particular, but anyway, just keep checking till you find one that doesn't have a lot of pulp mess. However, when I would make all these juices, it seemed like it was still taking forever. And those pounds, I might drop a half a pound, and then it was just coming back. But finally, I got this very expensive, it was from the Gerson Therapy. It was a juicer that it was no pulp. And what it was so much work, but you would get it down to, basically you had to grind all of your fruit and vegetables, whatever way it was, and then you put them in a press. Then you had to drink those enzymes from that juice. It was only food, but you had to drink it within 20 minutes or the enzymes would be dead. And it was so much work, but good health was worth the work and just feeling good again. But can I say that some miracle happened in 2 days from drinking the juice that I felt great and I could start saying it? No. It took months. Oh, no, let me go back. It took weeks, months, and up to 3 years. And I still am not 100% where I know that I need to be. Mm-hmm. But it's not like I dropped that 10 pounds in a week like they claim on some of these shows.
Yeah, you have to be careful, and that's what most of the American public wants, instant gratification. And, how long did it take you to get that way? How long is it going to take you to get
You
back?
are right.
Yeah.
You're so 100% right when it talks to, when you talk about age. But, myself, I couldn't understand how, I would drop 1 pound. Months would go by, because when you say when I would say I drop 1 pound, then I might end up going back up to 3 again. So it just was nothing that I could really count on. And I'd say, how could this be? But, from what I understand, really God made our body so wonderful that, when I talked earlier about cutting, how you could see if you ever got cut, how your skin miraculously healed. Mm-hmm. Intelligent bodies that we have no idea. But when there's something wrong inside and you're not even aware of it, whether it's true or not, I read you get cancer 12 times in a lifetime. So your body's constantly healing, shedding, and throwing it off, or other sicknesses, but you don't see that happening. So many people don't worry about anything or fixing anything until they see it on the outside.
Right.
So when are you ever to the point that you can quit worrying about your diet? Like they say, okay, now I have my weight down. I am finally down almost to what I was when I graduated from high school. And statistics also are showing you shouldn't be 5 pounds more than what you were when you graduated unless you were overweight when you graduated.
Okay.
Because that's where you need to pick up even from that point and not think, I'm only 5 pounds overweight. Don't let it even go there. Now, I am not so crazed about everything I eat that I can't go to a restaurant, that I can't enjoy living in life, because food is enjoyable.
Oh, yeah.
So, where I used to love French fries, if I ever went to McDonald's, which I don't even do that at all, ever, but if it's French fries, when I'd go to McDonald's when I first started this program, or if you're doing McDonald's now, I would take maybe 4 or 5 French fries and I would eat them, and then I would throw dirt or spit or do something in those French fries to stop me.
So you don't eat them.
But at least I still could stop my craving.
Okay.
And so
that's a very important word I think you just use, is craving. Mm-hmm. What is it, a craving, or is it I just want it? Craving is I need more.
It's our smart body.
That's it. Thank you.
It's craving, and it needs it. Mm-hmm. And we're just not giving it. And this empty food that's on the shelves that we're all using in the processed food. Another thing, people sometimes look at me and say, wow, your metabolism is great. And I say, don't even begin to say that it's not metabolism. So, a lot of people say, genetics has something to do with weight. Yes, if your family, in most cases, if you keep eating the way your family ate, and they're always into, all the wonderful lasagnas and all these kind of things, and you keep doing that, is it hereditary? It kind of is, because you did not change. But guaranteed, if you change, I haven't seen anyone that I have talked to, or anyone who's really trying to think about how important their vessel is. Because where are you without health? when we even talked about a sports car earlier, what good is the sports car if you're too sick to get in it?
Mm-hmm.
If you're too sick to enjoy life, So priority is your body. Another thing that when they talk about even metabolism, I say, no, it's not my metabolism. It's my fork and what I put on the fork. So I can't blame anyone else. It's the choices that I'm making and the responsibility we have to ourselves. It's actually wonderful, and it's very enjoyable when you go to your closet and you no longer can fit in any of those clothes, and it's time to, go shopping, and now instead of going up one step at a time and being too tired to go to the top, you can skip 3 like you did when you were young.
Mm-hmm.
We can reverse that. We can go backwards, because I know that I have. I know the way that I feel, and just little simple things that you didn't realize you were losing, that you start gaining back, and you go, oh my, I never even realized that I didn't feel that way, or I didn't have that, I used to have even on my face a lot of, they called them liver spots. Well, guess what? That liver roll is gone. Could there really be such a thing? That they called those liver spots, you could call it sun or whatever. It was amazing how much, as soon as the spring came in the summer, I would have on my face. And I don't have that anymore, because your body is so happy to heal. It will reward you. You will see the rewards. If you can make it to that point, and you can, and many times I say, I go to the restaurants and I would say 80 to 90% eat good at home. I won't buy anything that's not organic at home.
I was just going to ask you, what would be a typical menu day for you, like breakfast, lunch, snack, dinner?
Oh, what a good question. Everything that my grandparents probably ate. I eat baked potatoes. I don't eat very much pork ever, but a little bit of beef. But fish, absolutely. A lot of vegetables.
Do you have a favorite kind of fish? By the way, you've touched a very passionate thing about me. Is I love food,
yes.
And I love to try new foods. So I'm going to ask you all the time about, hey, what did you have? What did you have today? What did you have today? Give me a new recipe today. So what kind of fish?
Salmon, I love.
Okay.
I believe, not exactly shellfish.
Okay.
I don't. It's not like I won't eat that, but. There's certain things in the Bible that it says not to eat, and it does say shellfish. And I would say that was the #1 selling book always. So my thought is, if it says don't eat shellfish in there, then I, can't say that I don't, but not very much.
Okay.
So you can check and see what has the EPA and the high, whatever you really should have. Basically, it's also whatever meat or fish or whatever like that you eat, it shouldn't be any bigger than the size of the palm of your hand. No more than that for your food.
Okay.
And, food combinations, too, have a lot to do with how you feel. And we all know that, because look at holidays afterwards. Many people end up going to the hospital from overeating on those holidays.
Wow.
Because I don't know if you realize that.
No.
Yes, they do.
Usually it's just nap after we get done eating.
Yes, but it's overload. And, you really, when you think about it, and I want to go back to your question that you asked about food. And I said everything that my grandparents ate. I eat any kind of potatoes. I love potatoes. And if you saw the mounds of potatoes that I eat, you'd think that would put weight on me, but it does not. Because when you eat everything that's healthy, and it's just, like, I try to think of, okay, these potatoes are compared to what your grandparents pulled out of the garden or before it had all the chemicals on it. So I eat the same things, and you can eat the same things that you love. Just pick them without all the pesticides.
Okay.
Well, I shouldn't say everything that you love. I don't know what all they are, but fast food, forget.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
Or learn to make your own fast food at home. There's so many things that you can do. And they're delicious.
How about snacks? I like to pick throughout the day. Like I'll get I'm a little hungry. I want to snack on something.
Well, I don't know how exciting this sounds, but when you buy all this organic food, you don't want to waste any.
Right.
And say you don't have time to juice this all this healthy food up and you know it's starting to go, well, you don't want to wait till it's starting to go bad. But I bought a food dehydrator. And then I take bananas. You should smell my kitchen. I take pineapple, bananas, strawberries, and put them all, in the dehydrator, and it smells delicious. And then I just put them in a plastic bag, and wherever you go, you always have something good and healthy to munch on. When you start changing your life, the snacks that you used to eat, potato chips, or you can get pretzels, and they're sprouted pretzels, and they taste just as good as a regular pretzel, but just choices, just start switching them out. And you won't go to the grocery store, I'm sure, tomorrow and throw everything in your kitchen out and start fresh with that. And even though I knew at that time when I was sick I had to change, it took time to educate myself to change. And so it will take anyone time. But, if it took you 6 months to just change something in your life, but it was for the better, it's better than never changing at all. And then if you slowly keep changing, and something that I have noticed too, when your body is so used to ultimate nutrition and the food that actually tastes so delicious, that now a lot of times when I try to go back to eat a junk food, it just doesn't taste so good to me anymore. I'll take a bite or two and I can taste everything so imitation that, my body just lets me know, look, I don't want that. I don't like that.
One of the best pieces of advice I ever got was, nothing changes when nothing changes.
Oh, that is good.
And I've tried where there's try to live that way to the best of my ability. We'll take one more break. Okay, when we come back, we'll wrap up the show. This is fascinating, and I'm also very hungry. Of course, if anybody has any questions and they want to talk to Terry about anything, you can check out MaderiClinicals.com or give you a call at 866-646-3374. Did I get that right? 866-646-3374. This is Make a Change with Terry Martin, and I am Tom Jenkins on 94.3 FM The Talker. We'll be right back. Maderi Clinicals, a unique skincare company, has a complete skincare line for men and women. From anti-aging to glycolic and even a clinical line for sensitive skin, Maderi Clinicals is for you. Their number one product? Forgiveness. It's the secret to younger looking and younger acting skin. You can experience the transformation with fewer wrinkles, firmer skin, and a more youthful, radiant complexion. Treat aging, sun damage, rosacea, and more with Forgiveness. Plus, buy one bottle of Forgiveness, get one lip enhancing complex for free. Forgiveness. Apply it morning and night and keep forgiving and forgetting all through the day. Make a change with Maderi Clinicals. Balance, restore, look, and feel new. Maderi Clinicals, a complete skincare company for men and women. Call 866-646-3374 or check out MaderiClinicals.com. MEDERI Clinicals.com. Welcome back to Make a Change on 94.3 FM The Talker. I am Tom Jenkins, not the host of Make a Change, but we are here with the host, Terry Martin. This is the introductory show to a brand new show called Make a Change, and I'm excited to be a part of this show, especially with everything that we've just talked about, making the change internally. To help with the external. And Terry, you had talked about so many things just in the first, the majority of the show here, from exercise to drinking more water to eating, of course, a passion of mine, food, eating healthy. And this sounds like so much change that, I'm going to give you some lame excuses here, but I work all day long. I've got 2 little children. I've got a wife. I can't make these changes immediately. What do you tell people when they say things like that?
Get excited and find a reason to live. Because if you want to live long and strong, most of us do have to make changes.
Sure, and I agree with that. We'll say this hypothetically. I can't change all of that stuff right now. I can't. All at once. It's too overwhelming for me. It's too out of my comfort zone, if you will. And I hate being uncomfortable. What can I do?
Well, if you hate being uncomfortable, you can be guaranteed you will be uncomfortable if you don't make these changes.
Okay.
And so, yes, we fit a lot in our first hour, but I want everyone to not change that channel, to stay on here and know that if you do change a channel, you're going to miss something, because we're really flying through a lot of different topics. But as the weeks go by, we can elaborate more on each. But because this is the introductory, it's so important to let you know that, again, male or female, this is for everyone. Because you are a human being living, and you all have your own vessels. We all just, when they said we are what we eat, we are. We are exactly that. And, now that I see the changes that I've made, and I'd love to make it even in my children, and I even see that when I have grandchildren now, and when they come over, they love to even cut up the fruit and put it in, that you make life fun at all ages and all stages of your life. But when you make a way of change for yourself, you'll see how easy everything does fall into place to change.
Where do I begin?
Begin with, up here, your mind, to say, I am not done with youth. And I just hear so many people, even when they get into their 50s, they're thinking that they're already over the hill. Maybe even in their 40s. No, you're not. No, you're not. I have seen people, 70s and 80s, and they act very young. It's very hard to tell their age. It's the will to live. And if you have the will to live, you will have the will to change. And when you just change one, this is something that I also did here at one point. When you start changing all of your habits, even if you had bad habits, if it was drinking, if it's smoking, or anything that can actually harm you, the more ultimate your body gets feeling, the more the cravings leave or actually stop. So when our bodies aren't up to, and that probably when, say you have a bad day, and if you have a bad habit, that's the first thing that you're going to go for, because it's kind of a relief to you. Comfortable feeling that you're going back to. But after a while, you'll find out that those things are not your friend. But until you keep getting stronger, which you will, and take it from me, I just couldn't explain enough the strength that I have now, that I feel younger now than I did definitely 15 or 20 years ago. So if our bodies change, even if it was maxed 7 years, like they say, I can't wait to see what I will be like in 7 years, because I can see a big difference in 4 years since I made these changes.
I like that attitude. I can't wait to see how good I'm going to feel in the next 4 years. I mean, that's the mental part I think you're talking about.
Absolutely.
Instead of like, oh my God, I have to do this and I have to do that. Now, how about, I can't wait to see what's going to happen when I do this. Mm-hmm. I can't wait to see how good I feel when I do this. Instead of going to the negative, try to stay on the positive. And you had said something to me during the break. One thing at a time. Just do it one at a time. Mm-hmm. Little by little. And
once you really get turned on to these changes, you won't be able to stop. It'll be, okay, what next? What next? Yep. And when I also talked at one point, even remember years ago when we heard of even the Victory Gardens, there's nothing wrong with even planting a little garden, because if a person financially thinks they can't go do all the organic, you can grow it.
Oh, sure.
I mean, I forget where it was that I was, in St. Thomas. And there was this girl that we went to visit, and she lived in this apartment on a hillside, and she just had a cement, like a deck that you went out, mm-hmm. and it was filled. She had all of these herbs and plants and garden food, so there is no excuse. There's so many things, even the herbs that you can make teas out of. It gets pretty exciting after a while. It doesn't mean you have to go be an organic farmer, but there's many organic mm-hmm. farms around here right now that we should be supporting locally. Yeah,
CSAs, community supported agriculture, absolutely. Definitely talk about that a lot. My wife and I join that every year, and it's awesome. What I love most about that is we get like 8 or 9 different things each week, and things I've never, never knew what kohlrabi was until we joined the CSA. And of course, on the internet, trying to find some recipes. How can we cook this? What is this going to taste like? Should I and the one kohlrabi recipe, real quick, I cut them up and baked them like French fries.
Wow.
It was awesome. It was delicious. A little bit of sea salt on top of it.
Oh, boy, you are into it.
I told you. I love food. I love food, and I love trying new things. And I love having my kids try new things, too. That is always a blast.
We were also talking about doing that shopping and getting the food. And I hear many people say, my children won't eat this. Well, there are children from birth, and if they won't eat certain things, it's because we didn't feed it.
We didn't train them to, yeah.
And so now you don't hand them something and say, eat this, it's good for you. You just put it on the plate and everybody just start eating it like it's nothing new. And they'll start trying it and they will like it and they will adapt and change.
Mm-hmm. My son, we do the reverse psychology with him. Don't eat that. Don't you dare eat that. And he loves playing that game. I'm not going to eat this. Don't, because I'm going to eat it for you. No, right in. Oh, what are you doing, buddy? And then after dinner, he's, Daddy, I liked that rice. I liked that. That tasted good.
Well, that's his fuel. That is our fuel. And from what I also, and everyone has heard in the news, unfortunately, this generation, our younger children, the generation, we will, I hate to even say it this way, but we will live or outlive our children, some of them. And a lot of it is because of what is happening that we have to take responsibility. We love our children so much, and then we just, we'll give them all these little, everything that they want, and I don't know even how to say this, but so many children are on Ritalin and all these, well, maybe I shouldn't even say that kind of drug, I don't know, but they're on drugs because they say that they're hyper. Well, they're hyper and they're fruity probably because they're eating all of these fruity, sugary cereals. And so, doesn't it make common sense that fruity food, fruity.
Too much sugar will get them to hyper. Yes, it is common sense.
In their own little bodies. They're just probably, overwrought and shaken with sugar like we are with coffee. And so it's just common sense to go back and financially, physically, mentally, spiritually, in every way, you will be better. In my book, I have one page in there that's called The Personal Profile. So when you decide that you would like to start making a change in your life, maybe one thing you could do is put down the pros and cons like anything else. If you were going to take a job, whatever you were going to do in life, just like you plan for your vacations, plan for your life. I don't know that anyone is making a plan for their life. Not that because we just think that we'll always be living, that we will make it. And so look in the mirror, observe your skin. Because that is where it begins when we look at ourselves every day. That's the only part of our bodies that is not covered, and you can't put a shirt over it and walk out with that on. It's exposed.
That's the part we can see.
Exactly. And on top of that, not only, yes, it's exposed, but it's even, I have to say, even if the men or women are working in the gas companies and they're out in the fields, I can see, or women that are just even out in the sun, and now this with the winter time, the way our skin can actually start looking leathery and it looks all withered, basically, not only is that dehydration, your skin does need a treatment. So check us out at Mederi Clinicals, because there's all kinds of information. You don't have to go to a spa. It's a good idea if you want to go to one. But there's so many things you can just do. Order it online. Personally, you can see what would work for you. You can call our company and talk to anyone, and we would help advise you. But when you see that your skin is starting to look more youthful, that's even one little step in helping your body get on the right track. Because each time that you look, actually take a picture. Take a before and after of your face, of your skin.
Well, believe it or not, Terry, that's it.
We're done.
The show is over. So I'm excited to do this with you for the next however many weeks we're going to do this show. It's going to be awesome. I'm honored and very grateful to be a part of this. Of course, if you want to get involved with this or you have any questions for Terry, feel free. Give her a call, 866-646-3374. And, of course, check out MEDERIClinicals.com, MEDERI clinicals.com. Thank you again for this.
Thank you very much, Tom.
And thank you for listening to 94.3 FM The Talker. Have a great weekend.